separate, each sold separately.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Yes Have Some podcast in the multiverse of madness.
In the mid-sip of the multiverse. That's my signature now.
Mid-sip?
Just to sip while we open, yeah.
Turn your mic up a little bit. Let the people hear you.
Yeah, why am I so quiet?
I don't know. Jake, what's up, man? How are you?
Hello.
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Good. It's
Better now.
better now that we're seeing MCU.
Better now? Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Now that we're all hanging out.
Now that we're all here.
And now that my microphone's up.
There you go. Welcome to Yes Have Some podcast, everybody. If you didn't know, my name's Craig Goldberg. Thank you for joining.
What? Hold on. What do you mean if you didn't know?
If you didn't know.
Somebody's okay.
Well,
right.
I mean, I guess
it's possible.
I could be Craig Goldstein to some people. Hey, I gotta say, it's been a fun week. We had a great episode of Toy Anxiety this week. Thank you so much to our special guests, Jay from Geek Dad Life, Trevor Zamet from NECA Toys, and Abby. Are you feeling better? I know you had the night off.
Yeah, I was gonna say thanks for filling in for me, Trevor
and Jay.
It takes two people.
It takes two people to make up an
men.
Abby.
Yeah, honestly, no, I thank you for letting me take the night off. I wasn't feeling well, but I'm feeling better now.
Well, it'll come out of your paycheck.
Okay, we'll discuss that later.
All right, Jake, how are things down in your neck of the woods?
Pretty good, man. It's like a nice rainy day today. I like it. Setting the mood for Joe Bob tonight. I'm
very
excited.
Cool. Well, we're gonna get right into it. We'll talk about some housekeeping stuff a little bit later, but I know the people are here because Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is out, the latest installment of the ever popular Marvel Cinematic Universe, which has been going on since we were children, I feel, at this point. I'm excited to talk about this. This was something I was really looking forward to. I've gotten to the point in my Marvel career, I call it a career. I don't work there, but I should at this point.
Relationship with Marvel?
Relationship where I can't get to that same level of excitement for everything that they do, right? Sure.
Fatigue sets in. It's impossible.
Yeah, and it's not like I abandoned Moon Knight after the second episode. So I can't do this right now. I'll get to it eventually.
Like, if you don't tell me who you are in the first episode and what's going on, I'm done.
Well, hey, good luck with that. Because I kind of never figure that shit out.
I need some clarity.
This week, I don't know if it was yesterday exactly, but I think this week is the 10-year anniversary of the first Avengers film.
Yep. 2012.
And I don't know how long into, I don't know how many years it took to get from Iron Man to the first Avengers.
It was 4 years. 2008 to 2012.
Okay, so we're 14 years into this bullshit.
And we're just getting started. Well, they said last week.
Well, now I'm annoyed because we're 14 years in to the MCU.
Yeah.
And we're just now getting teases of mutants, which is the biggest. X-Men is the biggest Marvel franchise. I mean, other than with the movies, as far as comics and cartoons before the movie started, X-Men is the most recognizable name.
Sure. Well,
and it's your personal favorite.
We watched the Fox X-Men universe.
I'm assuming, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
The Fox universe kind of wrapped up, and now we're going to see.
Did it?
Well, Logan kind of felt like a stamp. I don't know. I can't keep up with anything.
Jake's here to keep you.
But more movies came out after Logan.
Yeah. Oh, those other ones.
I mean, there was another
Apocalypse and
that did come out.
The New Mutants came out.
Oh, it kind of pandemic.
Well,
no one saw it.
It's out there. It exists.
Yeah, we didn't talk about it.
This is what I'll say. We're going hardcore spoilers starting right now. So if you have not seen Doctor Strange and you don't want to know about what's going on in this movie, we suggest not listening any further. Having said that, when we see a new MCU movie, and I don't want to speak for the group, but like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it represents a very important part of my movie enjoying life over the past decade. I always look forward to these movies. I have nothing but love for a lot of them, some issues with some of them, but I really like Doctor Strange. I like what'd you say?
There's some bad ones.
There's some bad ones.
There's some foofers.
It's like literally anything in life, whether you
Yeah.
toys, movies.
Well, I
whatever.
mean, when
There's
you
gonna
got 14 years, there's going to be some stinkers.
there's gonna be some bad-
Statistically speaking, when you
Exactly.
have
Well, exactly.
more numbers,
Exactly.
yeah, you're
Yeah,
gonna
can't
put
be
out
always
some little stinkies.
I like Doctor Strange as a character. I like him a lot. I like that first movie. I love his plot line in Infinity War and into Endgame, obviously.
Mhm.
And I really enjoyed No Way Home. So I was really excited about this. But like Jake, I want to throw to you
Okay.
when you found out Sam Raimi was. We have a cat situation. Everything's fine. When you found out that Sam Raimi was directing
Mm-hmm.
the sequel
Mm-hmm.
to Doctor Strange, Scott Derrickson did the first one. Cool movie.
Yes.
He stepped away at some point. They bring in Sam Raimi, coming back to superhero movies for the first time since Spider-Man 3, which when we talk about stinkies.
Mhm.
What was your reaction? I know you're a Sam Raimi fan.
Yeah. I mean, I was super excited because Sam Raimi's great. He makes a lot of really good, fun movies. He makes, he made The Evil Dead and Army of Darkness, and that trilogy of films that's one of the all-time greats. I grew up watching those. The Evil Dead scared the shit out of me the first time I saw it, and I had nightmares. And my mom was mad that she let me rent that film, and I loved that.
That seems to be a common story you tell about you and your mom.
Well,
She's always mad about the movie you were
Yeah.
watching.
She let me rent it. She was the adult in this situation. Yell at her.
Just like apologize
And,
later.
Yeah.
Just rent the movie.
I was excited when he made the Spider-Man movies because even though those very much feel like comic book movies, you can still watch those and be like, oh, this is Sam Raimi. And when they came out and they were like, hey, we're giving Sam Raimi another comic book movie, I'm like, you know what? That's cool. And then on top of that, they were like, hey, this is going to be more horror centric. It's, it's a Marvel film, so it's not going to be, hardcore R or anything.
Right.
But I came out of the movie last night and I was like, hey, that felt a lot like I was watching Army of Darkness. Like it was kind of silly. It had some funny stuff in it. There was a lot. Like you could tell that was a Sam Raimi. I've seen a lot of people posting Sam Raimi wanted to make sure you knew you were watching a Sam Raimi movie, and that's amazing. Especially like when you're 15 years into a series and so many of the movies start to just feel the same. It's nice to have like. I'm glad we got people like James Gunn making Guardians films. They feel, it's like a breath of fresh air.
Well, it's like a director who gets to put their stamp. It's not just the boilerplate, because sometimes you get the sense that Marvel has like this template. They find a director with a name and they kind of put it through the filter of making a Marvel movie. And a lot of the times you get really good results, but I don't necessarily come out of, Ant-Man going,
There's not a lot of wild cards in there.
Exactly.
But I think for listeners, they'll know Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 was like a game changer for me. It was the first Marvel movie that I was like really like loved the characters, was into the soundtrack, and just became totally obsessed with, read comics from, and all sorts of stuff like that. But when it comes to that, I felt like it was like a real James Gunn, like it was him doing a James Gunn movie. And like that's something that I want to see, like Marvel characters through a perspective and a vision that's like kind of honed. And that's what I agree with you, Jake. I thought the Sam Raimi direction was like very, very scary and cool and interesting and stylized.
Well, there's just certain things he does. Obviously, like the camera technique that he uses that kind of puts you, that kind of first person view, which is like classic Evil Dead, the music cues, even the way, like, by the way, spoilers start now. When we're near the end of the movie and you've got like Defender Strange, but he's like the zombie, the version of it, like even the way like his face looks, there's the
way the head turns like sharply, there's like almost a stop motion element.
Yes.
Well, I tweeted yesterday. Sam Raimi made an Evil Dead film disguised as a Marvel film.
Yeah.
And I got a reply today that said, have you even seen it? And my response to that is, well, first of all, Yes, I did.
Yeah.
It was shot just like a Sam Raimi Evil Dead film. The camera angles, the 45-degree tilt, the like weird quick zooms that like the Evil Dead is known for. The sounds, the creatures sound the same. There's demons in it. The demons literally sound like the same voices from Army of Darkness and Evil Dead.
I think the only difference is
hold on. Bruce Campbell is in this. Bruce Campbell is in this movie, literally doing a bit that is like that bit he's doing where he's punching himself in the face. That is from Evil Dead 2 and Army. He does that in both of those movies.
Yeah,
like the plot of this movie is we got to find a book so we can stop a witch. That's the plot of every Evil Dead movie.
Yeah, but there wasn't undead souls associated with the book. Oh, wait.
There was.
By the way, you cannot convince me that hot dog cart man was just that universe's Ash. That was Ash.
Okay. I love seeing that. I love Bruce Campbell.
Jake, I completely agree. Like, I think even if you did not know, when you're watching
eyeball got pulled out, that also happens in I think every Evil Dead movie.
Like a big ass eyeball.
When you're watching Spider-Man 2, by the way, Jake, if your mic can go up at all, if it can't, that's fine. But if it can, just a couple notches.
Yeah, is this better?
That's a little better. Yeah,
that sound better. I can even go more if you want me to.
I could maybe.
How's
a little
that?
more.
Does that sound a little better?
How about I touch less?
Right,
you touch less.
I touch less.
You go up more.
You go up more.
Cool. I stay perfect.
Got it.
Spider-Man 2.
Sure.
If you did not know Sam Raimi directed that, when you got to the Doc Ock operation scene, you would go, "Oh, Sam Raimi directed this," or a big Sam Raimi fan directed this. Right. So there's that kind of stuff is sprinkled throughout this movie. I kind of wanted to talk about the plot because even though we've talked a lot about how the trailers are starting to give away too much, even though I watched both trailers, I kind of went into this movie pretty fresh on not really knowing, other than they're going to be going through the multiverse. I didn't know what the plot was going to be. I didn't know who the main antagonist was going to be. Abby, I kind of wanted to. I remember before we saw the movie yesterday, you made a comment. You're like,
I don't know anything about this. I got a clean slate.
Yeah, it's kind of awesome.
Yeah, I like that. And in the past, watching everything build up to Endgame was like, you stay informed. You know who's going to be appearing or who the possible cameos are going to be or what the stinger is going to be. I had absolutely no idea. I knew that Wanda was going to be in it. I'm a big fan of hers, so I was like, all right. I had no idea in what aspect or what way she was going to be in the movie, but I knew she was there.
By the way,
I've seen the trailer.
That TikTok's going around again from when Elizabeth Olsen was doing the press for Age of Ultron, and they asked her what else she wanted to do in Marvel, and she's like, well, I would love to do House of M, but they're never going to let me just have two imaginary kids and then go insane. And it's 100% what they did.
Yeah. I was hopeful kind of, but also very much uninformed on what I was going to see.
We can kind of set up the plot a little bit. I guess we didn't even roundtable it, but can we all agree? I want to say I really liked this movie. I think I consider it I don't know if it gets into that top tier Marvel yet, because I usually have to watch the movies multiple times before I make those decisions, but I want to see it again. I've been thinking about it all day. I can't say that for every Marvel movie or even a lot of them. The Ant-Man movies I really liked, but I don't think I've ever gone back and watched the first two Ant-Man movies, even though I love Paul Rudd. But there's something about this movie, the way the story unfolded, the implications it might have to the greater structure of the MCU. And Jake, one thing I've been thinking about all day, and I wanted to call you 3 times, but I just saved it because I was like, we're going to have this conversation on the podcast.
Okay.
Post Endgame, post Thanos, it's been, Endgame came out 3 years ago. I know, we know the pandemic happened, and that might be the reason for some of the structure of what's going on, but let's forget that for a second. 3 years post Thanos, we're not building towards a necessarily cohesive story arc the way that it built up for a very long time towards the arrival of Thanos, where every movie's post-credit scene was
It's almost a rebuilding period.
Yeah,
because there's nothing.
moving an inch
Well, it
closer.
has
Like
to be, I think. Yeah.
Right. But to me, this movie, even though it has a lot of implications, you've got Wanda there, you've got all these insane cameos we're going to talk about, you've got the multiverse in full force. It still kind of feels like a standalone kind of character driven movie. And I'm personally okay with that. I don't think that every single Marvel movie has to be and next time, like that tease for here's what's coming next, because I think it sets up the audience to expect something more, and then maybe sometimes it sets you up for disappointment. Like
more than anything, it sets you up for like expecting something that instead of going in and not knowing and not having the fun of the surprise,
right,
because of the formula.
Sure. But Jake, I don't know. I don't have really a question, but do you have any thoughts on where we are in the MCU and like the structure of what they might be building towards?
Well, I think we're right where it should be, because you can't end the whole Thanos snap thing and then immediately jump into your next big thing. You can't.
Right.
You're like we have to have time to calm down. We have to have time to have films where, characters they're all kind of a little more self-contained, doing their own thing. And I mean, you might say that, yeah, maybe they're not really setting stuff up, but like we just got an introduction to the Fantastic Four. And that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it was in a small self-contained way, we still got our first MCU, Fantastic Four taste. And that's gonna that's a big thing, because that's basically, they not to jump on, talking about the cameos yet, but like this movie being released is basically confirmation of the casting for Mr. Fantastic. You know what I mean? That's something we did not have for a while.
Right.
But I mean, I think it's good to do a couple movies like this. And you got to remember back that even when they started doing all the Thanos teases, it was still happening in movies that were self-contained. Like whenever, when the first Avengers happened, so that was already 4 years in. That was 4 years of little stories. And then the Avengers, even though Thanos is behind it all, like you don't even get any Thanos until the very end of the movie, when he's like, I'll do it myself. Right. And then it's just little teases that are after credit things for a long time. So
you don't really see Thanos again till 2014 in Guardians, when he kind of becomes more of the.
That's like the first time you actually see Thanos it's like he's like after credits until that.
Right. Well, hold on, one more thing. Like if they are, I know a lot of people. Nobody knows what Marvel's going to do for their next big event. Right? They're going to do something. I think a lot of people assume what's bigger than Thanos, it's Galactus, and that's what a lot of people have been saying. But if they're going to do that, Fantastic Four has to be in the picture first. Right. And I mean, now we know that the movies. When's Fantastic Four supposed to come out? I don't know if it's 2025 or something, but so. I mean, well, I'll tell you what. Let's table that till we talk about the cameo, because I have some thoughts about that. Kind of running through the plot of this movie. Okay, we're introduced to America Chavez. She is a multiversal traveler. She's on the run from these demons. She's
got some power.
She's got this power that she doesn't necessarily know how to control. She's looking for the Book of Vishanti, not the Book of Ashanti, the R&B singer, which is what I thought they were saying the whole time. She accidentally kills the ponytail Doctor Strange, gets thrown into.
She doesn't kill him.
Oh, right. He's going to take her power.
Scarlet Witch kills him.
Right. Well, this is what this all builds up to. We find out Wanda, Scarlet Witch, is behind. She's the one sending these demons after her. But before we find that out...
I love the YHS abridged version that we always do.
Well, you got to catch people up.
I know.
This all leads to this incredible, octopus monster
who's got a name. He's from the comics, but I can't remember. I just know that's
I'm going to look up tentacle eyeball creature.
I loved that. Like, Jake, you're the monster. You're from Monster Island. How do you rate this monster encounter and the fight that ensues, and all of that?
Yeah, no, I love it. I love any giant monster attacks, and I was surprised that he's in the trailer, so you knew that was coming, but it's like right away. Like that's
Super
kind of
early.
the opening 10 minutes of the movie is that giant creature.
Gargantos.
Yeah, there you go. He's really cool looking, and he gets his eyeball ripped out, and that's kind of gross. That was the first time I kind of forgot, like when you sit down, you're getting excited for a Marvel movie. It kind of slips my mind that Sam Raimi is behind this. And the first 10 minutes just feel like a Marvel film.
Right.
But as soon as that eyeball came out,
Yeah.
I reached over to the person next to me who I didn't know, and I said, "Hey, Sam Raimi."
Yeah. That's Sam right there.
Eyeball came out. That's
And
Sam
then it was
Raimi
Ted
move right
Raimi
there.
next to you and went, I know.
Kind of a sequence.
Yeah, and I thought all that stuff was cool. And like, they set up the stuff at the beginning with Steven, and he's at Rachel McAdams' wedding, and you're like, oh, they didn't get together. By the way, there's a great tweet today. This guy was like, just think, dude gets pulled into a multiversal war just because he was texting and driving 10 years ago. So I really like the opening. Abby, let me go to you on this. What did you think of America in this movie? Her character arc, and it's always, anytime they're introducing new characters, like you're at that moment now. We're 15 years into this thing where like sometimes I'm like, no, where's Captain?
Yeah, like you earn it
you
first.
got a little bit
And
of chip on my shoulder.
I think that's kind of what they understood with this, because they didn't give a bunch of exposition. It was like right in the beginning, the action sequences surrounding her, and you see her denim jacket. She has the Amor is Amor, like love is love written on her jacket, and then like the visibility of like the LGBTQ plus pin. So those were the first things I noticed. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then as you do get her backstory, it's kind of like it's the abridged, like very quicker, condensed version. Like, these were my moms, which, by the way, when they go and look at the moms, it reminds me so much of old Star Trek Next Generation stuff. Like, there were a lot of moments.
Their outfits looked like Star Trek.
Yes.
Outfits.
Yeah. Like, just.
And it's kind of like,
and the way,
and I mean this in the nicest way, there's like a cheesiness factor.
Yeah, there's like a cheese
like throughout
cloth.
the movie.
Like you can't really see a lot of their developed civilization. You don't see like aerial shots. It's like it looks like a TV almost, like just dead on.
Oh, and then Picard was in it, or later on.
Yeah, later on, and also Rachel McAdams, her character reminded me a good bit of Beverly Crusher, actually, when she's like got the red hair as like a nurse. Like, I don't know if any of that's intentional or if that's just me being a huge Next Generation fan.
Sounds like it.
But yeah, I did that. So back to America, though, she you get the backstory that she's got these two wonderful, loving mothers, and she lives on another planet, a different what do you call that? Multiverse, universe. Yeah, and she's very cool, like based just on the her appearance and like her outfit, and kind of gets buddy really quickly with Doctor Strange. And I liked their dynamic, and I liked that it wasn't like, here we go with like 30 minutes of backstory into this character.
Right.
I don't think that movie needed that.
Right. She'll get a Disney Plus.
Yeah,
cool.
they're like, just watch her as she does her thing.
So Doctor Strange goes, it's witchcraft. I know one of those. Jake.
Yeah, okay.
Scarlet Witch has the Darkhold.
Yeah.
Then you get the heel turn, and it becomes clear, like, oh, she is the bad guy in this movie. Never even crossed my mind, like, because the way WandaVision wraps up, it's just like, well, she had her moment. Things are better now. She's going to find Vision at some point, and she's going to try to find peace. But
I never thought it was going to be her either, and the trailer did a really, really good job at misdirecting you and just thinking she was like. The trailer makes it look like she's she's along to help. And the trailer makes it just look like a different Doctor Strange is the villain. And they've changed things with Wanda a little bit. Like the original character of Wanda of the Scarlet Witch, like Scarlet Witch is just her like mutant name, right? They've never really called her that in the MCU. They've always just stuck to Wanda until you got to WandaVision, and then she kind of becomes super powerful and becomes the Scarlet Witch at the end of that. But I didn't think that her becoming the Scarlet Witch meant the Scarlet Witch is
I just thought it was cool costume.
Well, I just thought she was like embracing her witchiness, and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna go buy this now. But like they point out in this movie that Wanda and the Scarlet Witch are not the same. They're
right.
the Scarlet Witch is like this. It's like
Beast
the
mode.
Phoenix. It's like the Phoenix in X-Men. It's like something that has kind of taken over Wanda, and that's a change that I'm not sure I love, but I did think it was cool that they let her. Scarlet Witch is a villain in the comics most of the time,
Right.
You know?
I like her.
I like that. You know, they went with that. It's very different, but it was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I want her to whisper to me like sweet things until I lose my mind. Sorry.
She will.
Yeah,
That's what she
does it in the movie. She like whisper kills people and does neat stuff.
So before we get to I want to get to the universe traveling, but one of the big set pieces is the defense and attack of what is it called? Carmartage. Really cool scene. Like I loved all that stuff, and like Wong is just great. Like I want the Wong 30-minute sitcom.
Oh,
on Disney
he's gonna get a TV show. If they're gonna give Moon Knight a fucking,
I want to see Wong and the kids, like X-Men kids or something.
Okay. No. Yeah, you're right. I love Wong. He's awesome. I don't know if you knew this. He's the Sorcerer Supreme. They have to tell you every 5 seconds.
Yeah, I like the back and forth between him and Doctor Strange, where he's like, "Oh yeah, most people bow for me now. That's kind of like an accepted part of this title."
God,
and Doctor Strange has that little bit of an asshole in him.
So this was the part I was looking forward to, is when they start going to the multiverses, though. And I don't even remember what brings them to that, other than, oh yeah, I do. All the shit. Wanda destroys everything. It starts like, oh, the whole thing when they're hiding from her and she's like coming through the reflection puddles, like in the temple. That was really scary. I thought that was really awesome.
Yeah.
Because like people kept saying this movie was gonna be scary, and I was like, I don't know. I was like, I wasn't really feeling it like the first 25 minutes, but then they started kind of sprinkling stuff in.
Mm-hmm.
Can I have a nitpick on the movie?
Yeah, even I have nitpicks. Yeah.
I thought the movie was gonna be like them going to like spending a chunk of time in like 10 different multiverses.
Right.
I did too. A little more than
4 or
one.
5 wasn't enough for you. They go through like 5.
No. I'm saying they go through them. Like they go through the cartoon universe. They go through the paint universe.
Yeah,
they
but
have that whole scene.
But then they spend. Okay, they spend time in the first universe where all the flowers are.
Right.
What universe is that?
That's like New York in some sort of a future.
Well, they get arrested.
That's not the universe that the Illuminati is in, right? The one with the flowers.
I think it is.
That's what I put together in my head.
They
while
never
watching
leave
it.
that universe.
I was like, "This is
Doctor Strange
caretakers.
fights the Doctor Strange with the third eye. That's in a different universe.
Well, that's later though. But the main chunk of the time is spent in Earth 838, which is like where they first get. By the way,
it's comic book talk. By the way, 838 6. That's all. That's comic book stuff.
Now listen, if we get something wrong, I know you're going to leave a comment. We've seen the movie once. It was last night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Feel free to educate.
No, fuck that.
But also,
don't tell me anything. I want to be
don't
wrong.
be a dick.
Timestamp. So, when they get to 838 and we reference the whole thing where they go, he sees the statue of the Doctor Strange from that universe, and he was killed fighting Thanos, and all of that. And this is where we get the really great Bruce Campbell scene. There's this funny piece of dialogue where they talk about how all the food is free, and she's like, "Yeah, your universe is the only universe where you have to pay for food, the thing you need to live." And they've got these pizza balls, but then there's this. Anytime Bruce Campbell shows up, it's very exciting. I love that guy. It's awesome.
I wonder if sometimes I wonder if he gets a little annoyed that Sam Raimi doesn't give him a bigger part.
Okay.
Don't you think like he's best friends with Sam Raimi and he's in all his movies, and I'm sure that's great. But Bruce Campbell's a good actor. Don't you think he'd be like, "Hey, Sam, maybe give me an actual part in Spider-Man instead of just give me a 5-minute." Like, he's funny and he's great in him, but I'm like, I wonder if that is ever a thing. Like,
yeah,
want some more
why not just make him a part?
Yeah, the guy's doing so many conventions, charging $80 for an autograph. Give this guy some movie parts. Let him work. Mm-hmm. I forgot to talk about two really big plot points that I thought were really cool. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Wanda, she wants a life with her kids that don't really exist. Her fake kids. Mm-hmm. But I think the dream walking aspect is really cool, and the notion that your dreams are actually gateways into other universes. I found that to be very awesome.
Yeah. Yes. I'm a big fan of like. Well, I'm not going to say I'm a big fan of dream interpretation, but like I understand.
You've always been such a big dream interpretation fan.
No, but I thought that that was like a really cool perspective, and also seeing Wanda waking up from that, you can kind of justify where she is.
Oh, that scene was pretty. The first time you see Wanda and she's with her kids and all that, and then she just wakes up.
Yep.
That was like, oh,
for me,
that was a gut
too.
punch. Yeah.
Total gut punch.
Yeah.
To just wake up with nothing. And
also, I completely forgot what happened on WandaVision, because when they first showed her with the two kids, I was like, oh, good, they're all back together. I don't know. I was like, oh, I bet they're all gonna search for Vision and they're gonna use Doctor Strange to help them. I know what this movie's gonna do.
Well, it is a distinctly different Marvel movie, because instead of like watching an origin story or getting backstory on someone, you've just already watched an entire show and you already kind of know where Scarlet Witch is kind of rolling at that point.
Right.
So
sure.
It's just a different thing.
Okay, so I really like the scene where they're kind of flipping through the different multiverses. I wanted them to stop. I like the paint universe. There was dinosaurs in there.
Dinosaurs.
I saw some dinosaurs.
I wanted to see him go
that was in the trailer.
South Park universe.
There's a
Just
South Park.
wanted them to
see the
become
animation,
South Park characters.
Yeah.
That would have been funny.
I wanted to see that too.
That'd be cool.
Holy shit, it's Doctor Strange. Anyways.
Somebody animate that.
Somebody animate
Also
that
do
one.
King of the Hill. I like that intro.
So this all kind of leads to the Carl Mordo stuff, which is really interesting, because I think, Jake, we talked about thinking that he was going to end up being the main villain.
Well, they make it seem that way. And I mean, the last time you see Mordo in the first Doctor Strange movie, it's him being like, hey, this isn't how this should be. You know, they set up him becoming a villain at the end of the first Doctor Strange movie. So when he pops up in the trailer,
right,
you know, they make it look like he's sided with the other Doctor Strange.
Right. Yeah. That's not really what happens.
No, there's a good bit of misdirection in the trailer. Like he's excited to see Doctor Strange at first.
Well, I think the plot point, there's some really interesting like through lines of this movie. Like this whole notion that they told this entire universe that Doctor Strange saved them from killed Thanos, but that's not what happened. But it's almost like that thing where it's like these people need something to believe.
It's literally the end of Watchmen.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
okay.
They show them killing their universe's Doctor Strange, like for the greater good.
Mm-hmm.
And they all, it's it's the end of Watchmen.
Oh, I just want to make a note. One of the funny lines from America Chavez when she was talking about Spider-Man, she's like, "Ew, does he shoot webs out of his butt?"
Oh yeah, that was very funny.
That was something I like that one.
That was pretty funny.
That's some good character development.
Does he?
Does he?
Nobody knows. Probably pretty weird if he does. Okay, so real quick before we go any further, I want to plug something because I think it's important. Our Patreon is awesome right now. It's awesome. And I want everyone to know that you can sign up for Yes Have Some Patreon, support us for as little as $5 a month. We got a lot going on. We've had a lot of new signups lately. We got bonus audio content multiple times a month. We've got Jacob Walsh Book Club. We've got the exclusive Discord channel. We've got an exclusive Patreon, Yes Have Some Instagram, and starting next week we're going to be doing bonus live toy anxiety streams, Patreon only,
just for you,
just for the people. And what I did this week, and I want to continue this, I'm going to keep this going until I get tired of it.
Keep it going.
You sign up for Patreon, $5 tier or above, you will get a personal phone call thank you from me.
Pick up the phone. Hello.
I think
let's hit 500, folks.
Yeah, let's do it.
There's also a good chance that this episode you're listening to right now,
is
going to be 5 to 10 minutes longer.
Sure.
For the Patreon.
Well, because that's what we do. You always get a little extra.
Questionable opinions. Unfiltered thoughts.
You get the episodes early and ad free. But yeah, I talked to a bunch of listeners and supporters this week. Called them on the phone. chatted them up on their lunch breaks.
It was a blast.
It was great. I love talking to everybody. So yeah, you're going to hear us talk about it more. Won't be the last time, but if you want to get in,
hear us on your phone. If you want us to talk to you.
Patreon.com/YesHaveSome. We really appreciate the support. We got an awesome community. The Discord's so much fun. And I'm excited to keep it going. And we're always like brainstorming new and fun ways to bring you guys even more content. So just thank you for the support and check it out. That's what I'll say.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay. Back to Doctor Strange. They get arrested. They get put into these prison chambers. And this is where we see the introduction of Christine in this universe. And she's kind of like a scientist now. And even though she dated the Doctor Strange from that universe, she's kind of nonplussed. She's kind of unimpressed.
Yeah, it didn't end well.
Yeah, it never does.
You don't need to know who did what, but it was probably Doctor Strange.
And this is all building up to let's just start. I don't want to bury the lead anymore. Let's start talking about the Illuminati. Let's fucking do it.
Well, you got those Ultron bots first.
Yeah.
And you see them in the trailer, which I wish none of the Illuminati stuff was in the trailer.
It would have been quite a reveal.
It would have been really cool. Yeah, but they show you the Illuminati. You get Charles Xavier's voice in the trailer. I wish they would have not put that in there. The inclusion of the Ultron bots is kind of weird when there's no Tony Stark. And I know that a lot of people thought there were rumors about there being, an alternate universe version of Tony Stark, and maybe that was an idea at some point, but
right.
Ultron bots kind of don't make sense without him. But who knows? Whatever.
They could do whatever they want. I mean,
they do
rumors were on there was rumors on Twitter forever that it was going to be, that universe's Tony Stark was going to be Tom Cruise. I think it was a bad Photoshop that kind of took off, but I mean, that's not, listen, because what we're about to talk about, just because something's on the internet and fans want it, sometimes that shit just comes true. Yeah. So let's talk about this Illuminati. So you get the Ultron bots, and Jake, walk me through it. So they kind of present themselves as like, hey, we're this universe's kind of like we were assembled to make the tough decisions, like almost like I don't know, like an Illuminati, like that's
I mean the traditional Marvel version of you could tell in my movie theater whenever he said Illuminati, a lot of people kind of laughed, and I think it's because people just hear the term Illuminati and think it's this silly like cultish thing. But in the comic books, the Illuminati is like a group of Marvel superheroes who are kind of above. Like they know everything. They're the ones who know about them. They're not. Some of them are from different universes, and they kind of get together, and they kind of police things or
like an all-knowing body, governing body.
Exactly.
Big Brother.
Now in this movie, they're all from the same universe, which is different, but they're a team of the like elite superheroes,
right?
And I believe the first one we're introduced to is Captain Carter. Which we knew which they've been teasing her. She was teased on the poster.
Right.
The first poster came out had Captain Carter's shield on it. So I think we all knew she was going to be in it for sure. They just straight up put her in the last trailer.
Always good to see Haley Atwell, though. She's great.
Yeah, she's great. I think it's cool that they kind of, took those, the what ifs and, brought in a character from that. I believe the second one we're introduced. Are we introduced to Black Bolt or are we introduced to Captain? Okay, so we got Black Bolt, who it's the same character, same actor playing Black Bolt that played him in the Marvel TV show The Inhumans.
Right. So it's the same actor, same character, different universe.
Yeah. And then we're introduced to Captain Marvel.
Maria Rambeau.
Yep, Rambeau. And then they're doing some talking, and then you're introduced to the smartest man in the world, Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, which is insane.
Yeah. I personally didn't see the second trailer, the most recent one, so I was not mentally like expecting that, and I got really excited. I think that was the most loud moment in our theater. So a lot of people freaked out.
I think that look, there has been, I don't know when this movement started, but at some point This is the world we live in.
Like 10 years ago.
At some point, collectively, the internet decided. The internet said, you know, when like there's a new pope and the black smoke comes up. The internet said,
The
attention.
great internet has spoken.
The internet
Say
has
Oz.
spoken. We have found the Mr. Fantastic for the MCU, Sir John Krasinski, and I don't know why.
Sometimes it doesn't happen, like Sebastian Stan as Luke Skywalker.
Well, that's
Sometimes
because it's Star Wars, and Star Wars doesn't do anything.
doesn't
right.
operate that way. Yeah,
It's because he started acting in other roles outside of The Office, and people saw, oh, hey, he's an actual good actor, and I think someone just made a Photoshop of it at some point, and everybody was like, yeah, why? Everybody likes him, so it just kind of, you know, if you sit around and think like, well, who else? Who would you want to play Reed Richards? It's like a hard. Why not him? He's great,
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously he's married to Emily Blunt, and people really like her as well, and she's also a great actress.
Mm-hmm.
She's 100% going to be playing Sue Storm.
100%. 1,000,000%. Like they reference it. He's like, well, I have a wife and kids.
I love that.
It was like, yeah, we know
It works.
You know,
The internet knew all along.
even though I wasn't surprised, but I was like pleasantly surprised. Right?
Well,
I didn't know it was going to happen.
I would not have been expecting Reed Richards. I expected the Illuminati to have like there were, you know, the new version of Captain Marvel. She's in the first trailer,
Right.
So we knew that Professor Xavier was going to be there. Like, you know, there were some you could kind of figure out. For some reason, the Black Bolt rumors have been happening for a long time. I don't know. There must have been some leak or something. But at no point had I seen anybody say anything about, oh, maybe Reed Richards is going to be in it. I was like, oh, I don't think they're going to do that. But, you know, the day before the movie, I was spoiled, and I just got on Facebook, and somebody had straight up posted a photo of of those four characters. I thought it was Photoshop. I was like, what? I was like, no.
Did you go back and tell that person to go fuck themselves?
Yeah, let's shame them.
I just deleted them off my Facebook.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything. I just immediately, even before I found out if it was real or not, I just deleted
You know where you're not going to find spoilers?
Where?
Group therapy.
Very true.
All you have to do is sign up on Facebook and search for Yes Have Some Podcast Group Therapy. It's our closed group, and no one will post spoilers, and if they do, we'll kick them out.
Yes. We're counting on it. I thought the Reed Richards thing was really cool. I thought that the costume looked cool. I think John Krasinski looks the part, sounds the part.
Mm-hmm.
Now here's the thing. I want to get to Professor X, but the whole Illuminati gets bitched out like they get murdered, hardcore murdered. Like
this is another scene where you can tell you got Sam Raimi because like we've seen, and it's not just here. Earlier, whenever Wanda is, you know, killing everybody at Carmitage, like some of the deaths are like, they're like brutal for an MCU film. Like you watch people burn up, and you get to this part, and you got these four main, you know, you're seeing Reed Richards for the first time, and we watch his head explode. Like his head blows up. It's I don't want to say it's graphic because it's not for like any horror film, but for an MCU film, the deaths were kind of graphic.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like seeing a puppy die with John Krasinski.
Yeah, Captain Carter takes her shield to the midsection.
She gets cut. She gets cut in half. Black Bolt kills himself basically because he doesn't have a mouth, and his head explodes. And it's
and don't
weird
forget, in the triumphant moment where the MCU finally reveals a version of Charles Xavier, and not only is it Charles Xavier, it's Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier. And not only is it Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier, he's in the damn X-Men comic book animated series, classic yellow.
You even get the music from the animated series.
Yeah, they did.
I love that vehicle. It looks like something at like an amusement park ride or something. Like, you know what I mean?
It looks like
a coaster car.
What I'm sad about is that the Charles Xavier from the end of Logan Never got to get in that thing because that guy was loopy and he would have had some fun in that car. But then Wanda snaps his neck.
Yeah, dude.
I have a question / concern.
Go for it. This is why we're here.
Okay.
We're not here to just tell everybody the plot. Who cares? We need
this might get confused. This might get confusing.
Taking notes.
I think the MCU has sort of written themselves into like a, what do you call it?
A corner.
Backed into a corner?
Kind of.
Obsolescence?
So you got Spider-Man and Spider-Man in the Multiverse of Madness, right? You got 3 Peter Parkers in the Spider-Man film. 3 Peter Parkers that are all from different universes, but they're all Peter Parker. But they all look different.
Right.
They're different people. So then whenever you get to this movie, you got like 5 Doctor Stranges. They're all Doctor Strange, but they look identical.
Right.
You got, you can't really count the Captain Carter or Captain what's the other Captain Marvel, because they're different. They're not. Yeah, they're different people who just became those characters. But you got one franchise where you're showing, and the same thing if they were going to bring Iron Man, if they would have done the Tom Cruise Iron Man thing, he was going to be Tony Stark. You can't have one movie be like, okay, well, you look the same in every universe, even if you're different. But then in the other movie, they can look different and still be the same person. It doesn't make sense.
It's like, why doesn't...
You get what I'm saying?
Why wouldn't you say goodbye instead of bad bye?
No.
Superman?
Peter Parker is Peter Parker in every universe, but he looks different in every universe. But then how come Doctor Strange doesn't look different? He's the same in every universe. That is inconsistent.
I think it's just going to be inconsistent because, think about the Loki variants, right? Like, one's an alligator, right?
But that's what I'm saying. But that doesn't. I get it, and I would rather they look different because them looking different is your excuse to recast the X-Men. They can't have the same X-Men come in.
No, they can't
have the same actors, even though they just gave us Patrick Stewart as another alternate Professor Xavier, but they don't follow their own logic with Doctor Strange and Wanda. Doctor Strange and Wanda look exactly the same in every universe. That doesn't make sense.
Right.
They should be played by different actors.
Right.
And that's why I was confused. I was like, is this confirmation that John Krasinski is going to be playing Reed Richards, or are they just going to recast because that's not our universe's Reed Richards, and our universe's Reed Richards can look like somebody else?
But what about, so in the post-credit scene, Clea shows up.
Yeah.
And she's kind of an alternate version of Doctor Strange. She might be that universe's Doctor Strange.
No, she's not Doctor Strange. She is the Sorceress Supreme.
Right.
But that doesn't make her Doctor Strange. Like, anybody can have that title.
I 100% understand the logic behind what you're saying. I just think it's one of those things that they're going to...
They do what they can and have to just...
Because I don't think... Going back to John Krasinski, I 100... Not only do I think he will be leading that Fantastic Four movie...
Yeah. Me too.
Because I think if they recast it now, everybody like, what the fuck? No. Unless he comes out, I was like, no, I never really wanted to play this character, but this opportunity to do it as a one-off,
right?
Which would be pretty bold, kind of. But I want to see him in that role.
I guarantee you, he's already filmed other post credits. You know what I mean? They didn't get Reed Richards in a room and film something and not do something else with it.
So the Fantastic Four movie was announced a while back, almost 2 years ago.
Yeah. He's probably been signed on for this.
And it was announced 6 months ago or so that John Watts was going to direct it. John Watts directed the 3 Spider-Man movies, Homecoming, No Way Home, Far From Home. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. If he wants to stay with the MCU, I think this guy is equipped to do a really great Fantastic Four movie.
Sure.
It was announced this week he's stepping away, and somebody on Twitter was like, oh, I bet John Krasinski's going to direct it. And it kind of took off as a rumor, but
I mean, I can see that.
It
Why
kind of
not?
makes sense. He's
Well,
got,
like, why not have?
Right.
Yeah, if you already got him signed on, all they got to do is be like, hey, well, we'll just amend your contract, just
Right.
direct it.
It adds more like pizzazz and sizzle to the whole project.
because he's become a little bit more A-list. He did the Quiet Place movies, are very successful. So yeah, I fully expect that to happen. And I loved, there's a really great chance this is officially the last time we see Patrick Stewart playing Xavier. And even though
a little, he's getting up there.
He's old, yeah. He's old.
And you can see it this time. Like, to me, it almost feels like Patrick Stewart has not aged since the first time I saw Next Generation.
Right.
But I mean, when you see him in this and he's up when he's walking around, when he's in like Wanda's head, I was like, oh, you can see the age coming up on Patrick Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
But I really enjoyed it. And like, just to explain, if you're confused, like I am always, that Professor X that he was playing is not the Professor X from the X-Men movies. The classic Fox, the classics.
I mean, I guess now it's considered.
I still think there's a really great opportunity to introduce Deadpool in one of these multiverse things.
I feel like there's no way that. I mean, they're making another Deadpool.
Yeah,
right?
it's already. Yeah,
they'll do something. They know.
I want him to be the only other person besides America that has multiversal travel abilities.
Well, I think he will, and he'll be the only character who's aware of everything. You know what I mean? Like,
I can do running commentary.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's his thing.
Right.
Yeah. They'll cut to John Krasinski and they'll cut back to Ryan Reynolds and be like, holy shit, you got that guy? And the Office musical start playing. By the way, there's already a petition to get what's the actor's name who played Dwight? I can't think of his name.
Rainn Wilson.
Rainn Wilson to play MODOK.
Yeah.
He'd
Put him
probably
in there.
be pretty good as
It's not
Got
that.
acting chops.
Listen, if you can't get Pam Beasley as Sue Storm, then get the fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Jim. Anyways, Jake yelled at me the other day because I was like, Jim, John Krasinski looks different. And you were like, Craig, you're watching Office reruns from 20 years ago.
Oh, I'm just saying, like, a haircut and growing a beard makes anybody look 100% different.
And cooler.
Yes.
And cool.
I never liked Jim. I always kind of hated Jim and Pam.
I think they get less interesting like around season 3 or 4. Once they get hitched, it's kind of like downhill for them.
I like Jim the first couple seasons where he's really
I like
sad.
Jim.
I like when he's sad. I want sad
You
Jim.
like sad Jim?
I like sad Jim.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of sad Jim.
Okay.
So listen, we have this Illuminati.
Watch something new.
Wanda shows up, fucks everybody up. I was glad that we got to see Mr. Fantastic get all stretchy and just sliced up. It was so
That was cool. Shredded,
shredded.
all curled up. It was like neat.
So, we don't have to run through every plot point, but they do, they make it to this, they kind of escape Wanda. They make it to this other part, like what do they call it? The world between universes, which all that stuff was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
There's another run in with another Doctor Strange.
Yep.
And that's where our Doctor Strange learns that he might have to do a little reading of the Darkhold, which
possessing of his own corpse.
Because that's what caused Wanda to, become the Scarlet Witch. So.
Yeah. It's like a temptation type of thing. Like if you give into it.
Well, they end up at this.
If you read out of the Necronomicon, you're going to get possessed by something from the Necronomicon.
So they end up. So the haunted version of the Doctor Strange house, which gave me a lot of vibes similar to the end of Loki. It kind of felt very similar, but it's called it's an incursion. Destroyed universe basically, and there's like this scary
where it got wiped out. Basically.
Scary ass Doctor Strange that's living in this haunted house. And what do? Well, anytime you get two Doctor Stranges in one room with opposing views,
you make them kiss.
Well, you either do that or you have them have a music note fight.
Yeah,
that's the kind of esoteric shit that it was reminiscent of Loki. To see them fighting with musical notes.
I loved that.
Yeah, that's like another level of smelling colors and tasting smells. That's like neat. Blows your mind.
Give me back to that paint universe. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
I was glad that he acknowledged.
Hard to eat in the paint universe.
Was there one universe where everything was paint? There was.
You'd be very hungry.
So obviously, if you've seen the movie, you know how everything goes down. But we got to talk about this last act. So earlier in the movie, Defender Strange, they buried him at the top of the Bleecker Street building.
He buried himself.
Okay,
It's shocking how okay Doctor Strange is with just hiding a dead body. He's like, and he even says like, "I've buried worse," and it's like, what?
Yeah.
He's a bad.
What
dude.
are you talking about?
So when I'm trying to remember how this all goes down. So he realizes that he's going to have to basically read from the book. Is that what happens? And to repossess his body back on Earth 616 to go up against Wanda. And I know there's a whole other subplot with Wong climbing a mountain, but I don't have time to get to that right now. I just want to get to the demons.
Yeah, go watch it if you want to see the Wongs.
We're not covering that.
We're at an hour here.
So walk me through this, because I'm having trouble.
Well,
He dream walks into the corpse, right?
Yeah, because you can only dream walk into yourself, and he is himself, and it's his universe. The only other version of Doctor Strange that is in that universe is the dead version of Defender Strange. So he has to walk into a dead body.
I loved the design on reanimated Strange. Abigail, what did you think?
Yeah, it was like fantastic. It was so Sam Raimi, like with the head jerk movements and the half-eaten face on this side. Just it literally looks like Evil Dead 2 or whatever. I absolutely love seeing the playfulness of that character and like how it's like very scary and deeply fucked up if you think about occupying the body of your own dead corpse. And fighting with it, like that's like such a psychological mind fuck. So that plus the fact that he's like kind of funny and like it's very playful, which is again the most like Evil Dead Sam Raimi thing you can get. I thought it was fantastic. I thought that was like the coolest part of the movie. Yeah, when he assembles into like the large winged creature,
he's like using the shadow demons as his cape.
Yeah,
it's
great.
Yeah,
it's great.
He uses them to fly with. Yeah,
right. And they go battle Wanda at her temple. Or it's not her throne.
Yeah.
The Accusers Temple.
The Accusers Temple.
Yeah, got it.
And that I like Ghostbusters.
That's a good one.
Mount Wundagore is what that's called. I just wanted to look that up. And then they have the battle, and Wanda sees the error of her ways, and this is where me and Jake are about to fight.
They show her that. You know, they basically throw her into one of the other universes and show her how terrifying of a concept it is to steal kids from somebody else. You know, they make her see that maybe she's doing wrong and
right. Well, her whole idea is that she's going to basically eliminate an alternate universe version of herself.
Check-in, Wanda.
Yeah.
Are you happy?
Hey, why are we about to fight?
Oh yeah,
because
we'll really fight.
It's not really
different
because we were talking last night.
Yeah,
I was gonna have my brother call in tonight, but I decided that it's late and he doesn't have Zoom. Maybe he has Zoom. He's gonna listen and be mad.
Hey, Andrew, if you're watching, we thought about having you on.
He liked the movie a lot.
Okay.
About Wanda sacrificing herself and whether or not she's actually dead and if she's coming back and all of that. So we're not actually about to fight. But I kind of want to get some thoughts on that about where, seemingly she sacrifices herself. And there's a kind of a little bit of a parallel to Sokovia with everything rising up and kind of falling down and all of that. Jake, what do you think?
Well, part of me wants to think she's dead because not just because it looks like she's but it's like, are we going to have her? Wanda started off as a villain, right?
Right.
In the very first film, she started off as a villain. She was turned to good. She made up for all the bad deeds, became an Avenger. Are we going to have her do that again? We're going to have her turn bad and now have to do that again? Like that, we've already seen that.
Right.
Also, we're at a part in the MCU where all the old characters are leaving. They're all gone. They're either dying or they're passing the torch. We got a new Hulk coming. We don't know what's happening with Thor, but it looks like we might have a new Thor. There's a new Captain America. There's a new everybody. They're all Iron Man's dead. We're getting rid of everybody.
Next generation.
So that kind of makes me think like, oh,
Moon Knight.
Yeah, Wanda's going to be gone. But the thing that makes me think she's not gone is that we have not resolved the Vision storyline.
Right.
Vision disappeared and he's out there somewhere. And I do not. I mean, unless they're trying to go the real tragic route and have the white Vision get his memories back, but it's too late and Wanda's dead. That would be awful. But
Then he searches for her and
something they could do. So, but I don't know. They made it seem like she's dead.
I think she's going to be gone for a while for sure. Jake, I agree with every single thing you just said. The only thing the point that you make is that the Vision storyline is unresolved, and we know that Agatha is going to get her a Disney Plus show. So that universe, that world of witches and witchcraft and Wanda.
Yeah, it could be that Agatha works to like get her like get in contact with her wherever she is, like whatever plane of existence,
Right.
if she's alive.
Right. Or you can always just bring in Wanda from another universe. I am on record. I think Scarlet Witch is cool, but give me suburban.
Give me Momda.
Give me Mother Wanda. I want, the yoga pants, the gray sweatshirt, eating ice cream. Those kids wanted ice cream. They wrote a whole song about it. I loved that part.
I'm going to get choked up thinking about it.
They were like, all right, 1, 2, 3. We really want that ice cream. I don't remember the song.
It just
I hated
reminded-
that part.
Oh, you hated it?
I was like, get these fucking kids off the screen. I don't give a shit about those kids.
Dude, those are kids that I can handle.
Those
are
kids
cute
don't
kids.
even realize the gift that could you imagine your mom is Elizabeth Olsen? That'd be great. She's like a caretaker, taking you to ball games, buying you a hat. I don't know. If you needed one, I don't know. I feel like if you needed a hat, she'd be like, let's go get you a hat.
Would your mom not buy you a hat?
My mom would probably buy me a hat if I really wanted one.
I don't think that's a big.
That's my
Hats are not
bar.
hard to come.
That's my bar.
She bought me a hat.
She bought me a hat. I think she's my mom now.
She's a good mom.
And then you get a little bit of closure with Doctor Strange. Is he a sad character? Is he kind of not sad like, oh, you're sad, but is he kind of a tragic character a little bit? Like, how do we feel about his arc so far and where he is?
Well, I mean, it's the classic superhero. You have to sacrifice some. I mean, Spider-Man's literally going through the same thing. He's like, sometimes the superhero has to sacrifice having a loved one so they can continue being a superhero. That's been a plot point since the beginning of superheroes. So
right.
Yeah. Like underneath all the armor, they're just humans and like they deal with real difficult stuff.
So the post-credit scene where I kind of hated it. I just want to say that. Not the second one, the first one. Because because it's like I don't
What's to hate about that? You just hate it because you didn't know because it wasn't somebody you know?
No. I don't love this thing where it's the
that's the Charlize Theron.
Yeah,
part?
the stinger where it's like, here's a famous actor playing a character
you don't know yet.
It just doesn't.
But that's every single superhero. Every single superhero ever. The first time you see them is a character you don't know yet. So that's that's every single one.
You know what I didn't like about it?
You didn't know anything about Doctor Strange until he popped up.
Listen, you know what I didn't like about it?
You want the original formula.
It made me feel like Eternals. I don't know why. I was like, oh, she looks like she'd be an Eternal.
It's because you thought it was Angelina Jolie.
No, you told me it was Angelina Jolie.
That's who I thought, because I was like, oh, a blonde.
No, I said it was Furiosa. I said it from the start.
Oh, fuck.
Anyways,
I love Charlize.
I don't know much about that character. I really don't. But
you will,
Jake.
Dude,
Doctor Strange.
5 years from now, that's gonna be you're gonna be like, that's my
dude.
favorite character.
Got the hot toy. Got the hot toy.
Exactly. So,
Third Eye, Doctor Strange. What's going on there? Is he a little bit? Is he a multiversal?
Yeah,
he's got a little touch.
He's touched. I mean, they talk about it, throughout the movie that the Darkhold will do bad things to you, and Didn't Doctor Strange get the third eye in What If? Isn't that from What If?
Oh,
I think it is. It's the part of the effects. I don't know.
That would
little extra power.
We've seen.
Third eye like opens up. It's like an extra bit of juice. I don't know.
Third eye Vishnu.
The third eye. It kind of looked almost practical. I don't think it was, but there's something about. I know, but it almost looked kind of bad, and it had like a Sam Raimi kind of like cheesiness to it. I can't really describe it.
It looked evil and wrong and unnatural. That's for sure. I don't know that it looked like poorly done. I thought it looked pretty cool.
Well, let's run this down. Where does this rank in the MCU? Does anybody know yet? Is this top tier, mid tier? It's not bottom tier.
It's above Ant-Man.
It's hard to rank. You always love them, right? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It might go up, it might go down. I liked it a lot. I liked it more than the last few things I've seen from the MCU. I mean, I liked Spider-Man, but I think this was right up there with Spider-Man at least.
Do we think there's okay, here's something, and this is the conversation. This is why I wanted to bring my brother on. This is the conversation I had with him this morning.
Do you want to call him?
No, we're almost done. But, why does Doctor Strange just had a whole movie in No Way Home, like talking about the multiverse? People were coming in from the multiverse. He seems a little too like surprised about the multiverse things. Like, and then the way he explains the Spider-Man thing, I'm like, wait, are you supposed to remember that? I guess he doesn't remember Spider-Man's Peter Parker, but he still knows that he did a spell for Spider-Man that fucked everything up.
Yeah. You're getting into like weird magical theory.
Well, I kind of thought about, and then there's the scene where he's talking to Wanda and she says America's name, and in my head I was like, oh, he hasn't told her name yet. This movie was poorly edited. I was like, oh, that's part of the plot. Okay.
That's the plot. Yeah,
that's the witchiness.
So anyway, that's what gave it away. That's how you know a witch, when she knows somebody's name. Okay. Doctor Strange, great character. Wanda, great. Wong, great. Loved everything in this movie. Let's roundtable some final thoughts here. I think we covered enough for one viewing. I think we've dug in about as far as I feel comfortable digging. Jake, where are you at with the MCU coming out of this movie, going into Thor, Love and Thunder?
I mean, I'm excited for Thor. I think the characters that do best with Marvel, I think the best thing that Marvel can do with their characters is when they sneak them into other movies in smaller roles and they really get you invested. Like that's what they, it's hard when you got a new character and it's like they got to be, but like Doctor Strange at this point, he had his own film. This is a second film, but he was in Spider-Man. He's been in, some of the Avengers film. Like at this point, you have a relationship with him. And I think that's when the characters really start to work well, when they can throw them into other movies and you really start getting to know them. So at this point, Doctor Strange is kind of the top. He's kind of top tier MCU right now. So
100%.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Abigail?
I like Benedict Cumberbatch's kind of like frustrated energy. Reminds me a little bit of the Power of the Dog, like not exactly the same character, but being frustrated and not really getting what you want. I really think that he's relatable, and I've kind of let him in my heart as like the new replacement, like head of the team, like Iron Man a little bit. I feel like with these Marvel movies, here comes my food analogy. I feel like it's like going to Baskin Robbins and you're testing and sampling like all the ice cream one after another. It's like, it's all
that's
good.
Annoying.
Yeah, I know, but it's hard to
there.
differentiate and be like, well, I like this, but I also, it's all tastes good. But this movie was like a bubblegum ice cream to me. Is like memorable and like kind of gross and weird.
Kind of ice cream.
No, but the next day you're like, I liked that. I like bubblegum and cotton candy and all those weird flavors. So this was like kind of a different flavor for Marvel, and I liked it. It's not for everyone. I know there's some complaints with the movie, and I do think
it was a little
slow in the beginning.
I get so mad.
But
I had
hot Wanda.
Slow in the beginning. There's a giant tentacle monster 10 minutes in.
But it moves fairly slowly for a monster.
No, I found there was like a lot. It scratched a lot of little itches. It was like the fantasy and dark realms.
This is what I'll say.
And humor and like little menacing things. And I like all that stuff. I like Sam Raimi.
Kudos to Marvel for going a little outside of the box. Congrats to Sam Raimi. This movie is making an unbelievable amount of money. So much so that I think they're going to probably ask him to do another one of these. Maybe he'll end up doing another Spider-Man or something. Who knows? But I know that there was major reshoots on this movie. Who knows what the reasons are for that? Most movies have reshoots, but it could be for continuity. It could be for, storyline purposes, COVID reasons. I did read that they didn't really know what the ending was going to be once they started shooting it. So that's interesting. But it turned out great. Danny Elfman did the music, which is awesome. So when, if you found yourself enjoying the score, it's because Danny Elfman still rules after all these years.
The Elfman.
The Elfman. And it was really fun. And I can't wait to see, where this goes. I mean, I still have a ton of questions about multiverses and timelines and variants. And
I want to see Wanda redeemed and found and reunited with Vision.
I still think about Loki all the time. Like when they, at the end of Loki, when they get back to the TVA and it's like King the Conqueror, is like, is that a different universe? Is there time travel? Because like Marvel has introduced all these different concepts over the last 5 or 6 years. Time travel, possible. Variants in the same universe, possible. Multi-universal variants, possible. Multi-universal travel, possible. It kind of makes me, sometimes wonder how we got this far when the first Iron Man was just like, we built weapons.
Yeah.
Well, then what happened? They fell into the wrong hands.
Because of this Playboy millionaire.
Yeah, exactly. Billionaire.
Sorry, billions.
All right, well, what we're going to do is we're going to say goodbye. Once again, we thank you for being with us every week here at Yes Have Some. We absolutely love this. We got so many fun movies to look forward to. We got Jurassic World coming out. We've got Jurassic World Dominion, I should say. We've got Thor. We've got Top Gun.
Buzz Lightyear.
Pass.
You don't want to see Lightyear?
I don't want to see Top Gun. I've completely
That was a Top
cooled.
Gun pass. I'm not. Watching.
Yeah, it's like a cold.
They showed
casserole.
us 2 Top Gun trailers last night.
That's how you know it's going to suck. If it's like, hey, watch this package, and if you don't know about it, let's watch this other little promo. And here's the trailer. If you don't have Top Gun on your mind.
By the way, we
know.
talked about Patreon earlier. Little tease, because what we do for our regular episodes every week is we do a little extra in, a little bonus overtime just for Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to happen right now, but if you're on the regular feed, you're not going to hear it. If you want to hear the 3 of us giving our thoughts on that Avatar trailer.
Ooh,
God, I don't want to do that.
Avatar in sandals. And lovely sandals. Where does sandals exist?
Bahamas?
The ocean.
It's like a resort.
Jamaica.
All right, everybody.
Is it in the way of the water?
Oh, boy. For Abigail Gardner, Jacob Walsh, my name is Craig Goldberg. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you next time. Hi, everybody. Craig from Yes Have Some here. And I just wanted to take a minute to tell you all about YHS Podcast on Patreon. You're here for a reason. You either just discovered Yes Have Some, or you've been listening for a long time. You like what we do here. And I'm telling you, Patreon is the best way to get a lot more of it. For as little as $5 a month, you can help support YHS, help us keep the lights on, as they say, and you get complete access to our entire archive of bonus audio content. We do multiple bonus episodes a month. Sometimes they're full YHS episodes. Sometimes it's me just rambling about toys. We even have Jacob Walsh doing passages of Stephen King and giving his insight and opinion on all the books he loves with the Jacob Walsh Book Club. I'm telling you, the people that are already a part of it absolutely love it. We have this incredible community. And it's not just the audio episodes. You're going to get access to the exclusive YHS Patreon Discord, as well as our Patreon Instagram. Like when we go on trips, when we go to Star Wars Celebration, when we go to Dragon Con, when we do all the stuff that YHS is known for, we don't post everything publicly. We have an Instagram page just for Patreon. It has exclusive photos, video, and just content that you're not going to get anywhere else except for on the YHS Instagram for Patreon. So, Abby likes to say, turn the wheel and unlock that vault and get access to all of this incredible YHS content that you've been missing out on. Patreon.com/YesHaveSome. As little as $5 a month. We have multiple tiers. And I'm telling you, you're not going to be disappointed. Okay, let's get to the show.